Hello, I've been playing the Menace Demo for a bit. It has come out for like what, 2-3 weeks ago. And yeah, I wanted to give sort of my first impression and feedback for the upcoming early access release that is about to drop in like February of 2026. Because while I'm having a lot of fun, I think there is definitely room for discussion, because I think a few things in the game needs to be addressed. And I have about 30 hours right now in the demo from according to Steam. So yeah, I think I'll just jump straight into it with what I like, because while there are things that I think needs to be changed, others I think should stay as is, because there's definitely features that are already very well implemented. So the first one actually I will talk about is the squad loadout system. I really like this. It kind of reminds me, for those who played Call of Duty, the Black Ops 2 Pick 10 system, where you were no longer forced to have like one perk of each class. You were allowed to like have more perks, but then you had to sacrifice something else. Menace squad loadout system is exactly that. You can have very few squad leader but very well equipped, or you can have many but the overall quality of each squad is going to be lowered. And not only that, but you can like specialize each squad leader for a specific role, or you can make them more jack of all trade. And I really like this like freedom of choice. But not only that, but I also like the squad leader themselves, each having like both from a gameplay and character standpoint. The fact that you can take a character like Lim, for example. The guy is very geared toward like your assault type character. He is meant to like with like mobilities and like a perk that helps him in close range. He's really meant to like, he bridge the gaps, mow down people, rinse and repeat. Or you have others like Darby, who is more of a scout, but she can kind of be like a Reaper, if you've played XCOM 2, where like you're concealed, but then like you pick off isolated target. Yeah, that's really cool. And like then you combine that with what I just said previously with the loadout system. You can like tailor those playstyle with specific gear for each of them. For example, with Lim, I really like to give him 9 squaddy, or like a 9-man team, and SMGs and smokes. So like he's really equipped to like be able to push the enemy. In the case of Darby, I like to, depending on if I want to go cheap or like actually invest in her. If I go cheap, I'll just give her a sniper and like the scouting drone and the minimum amount of squaddy. And if I really want to invest in her, I'll give her the Sounds AR, and she's also got a perk, I think it's called Commando, that makes her better when she's isolated, allowing her to be, yeah, kind of like a lone wolf reaper. The AP system granularity I think is quite nice, and it really gives a lot of room for mastery, because in XCOM 2, or XCOM Enemy Within for that matter, you are stuck with 2 action. It's like no matter what you do, you can just do 2 things in a turn. Although in the case of XCOM 2, that's kind of thrown out the window when you take a ability that gives you free action, or ability like Lightning Hand, or abilities like Death from Above that refunds your action. Obviously you can end up doing like 3, 4, 5, 6 action, but yeah, in general, average soldiers in XCOM can do 2 things, which I do get why they did that in XCOM for simplicity's sake. But yeah, in the case of Menace, with its 100 AP per turn per squad leader, I really like yeah, the room for that you can try to really min-max every turn, and that's quite cool. Because like you can get at the end of like a turn, you've cleaned up a squad and you have 20 AP left on like Pike who is deployed already, do you get back up to get ready to move out, or you take it safe and wait for the next turn in case something comes up and shoot at you? Those are the kind of decision that I think this game's really nails, and that's one example of it. Okay, that's mostly what I really like about the demo so far. Now I really want to touch on the few things that to me are, I guess maybe I could call them red flags, because there's been quite a few instances where I'm playing the game and the thing I'm about to bring up really cause like noticeable source of frustration. And I'll just start with the first one, which is actually the mission type. I think they're overall hit or miss. And an example of a mission type I was not very fan of is the sweeping clear 60% of enemy, I think is the name of it, where you have to like run around the map, find 60% of the enemy and kill them. And the reason for this is that it feels more like a game of hide and seek than anything else. And it's really like the first time, okay, it can pass, but like the second, third, fourth time you do the mission type, it gets boring basically. And I think that's generally an issue with mission type that don't have an extra objective, because when like especially with the new update they released, there is this one mission type where you have to capture 2 zones. This one is really fun because of that extra objective, because it forces both you and the enemy to fight for a position, and that is really the sort of mission type that really works. Because yeah, in that sweeping clear 60% of enemies, sometimes you'll fight something, or like you'll encounter an enemy, and like you're like, by walking forward and then like revealing them, you don't have enough to like start shooting them, so you'll just like, let's say, deploy and like prepare for the next turn to shoot them. But then they'll see you and they'll just run away because they don't have anything to defend or anything to fight for. Whereas like, yeah, the zone objective that you have to defend, yeah, like, yeah, they have to fight for something, so if they run away, they become a detriment to their team. And that's, yeah, I honestly kind of wish that we only have mission type like these, where it's like you fight for an objective, like the one I just described before. It can also be the I guess I could call it controversial protect the zone mission type, where like you're in a zone and you have to hold off enemy force. The balance of this, I know they've made an update where the zone has like more quote-unquote health, I guess, if I can call it that, before you fail the mission. I've mostly played that after the update, I will admit, and since then I mostly had a fair time with it, so I don't know, maybe I'm just better at handling it. But well, I guess maybe I should bring that up, but I've mostly been playing since the new update on the challenging difficulty, which I think is the equivalent of what it was before the update, which is the middle difficulty. But yeah, protect the zone or protect the city or whatever it's called, I forgot the exact name. Yeah, I definitely prefer these kind of mission over yeah, just like the you run around until you find something, kill it. Like these are, yeah, I'm really not a fan of those. I really prefer when it's like you fight for an objective, which yeah, then brings me to another point, the level design, man. I haven't seen anybody talk about it, but man, the level design, I have things to say about it. And I think many aspects of the level design need some work. And I'll just bring a few examples of like, I think what I find, what I have issue with the level design. The fences that blocks your path provide zero cover. But I think the biggest obnoxious part about them is they don't show up on the mission preview. So you can like place your squad leader where you think would be the best spot for them to be at the start of a mission. And then you have, I don't know, Lim, who's like supposed to be the guy that's like your front line, who's meant to rush to the enemy, and then like mission start, he's blocked by a fence, so you have to walk all the way around just to get past it. And then once he's done that, he's now in your back line just trying to catch up with the rest of your team because there's a stupid fence that the mission preview didn't show to you. And I honestly, like, aside from that, I just think like fences, they had nothing to the gameplay, honestly. I was thinking about it, and honestly, I think the game would just be better if you were to just remove them completely. And like, if you want to like create like choke points and paths, just make walls. I don't know. Like, why does it have to be a fence? Like, at least a wall, like, you know, is not just something that's like, it's something you can actually use to your advantage by being cover, right? Whereas like a fence, it provides no cover. Like I said, it's just obnoxious. I really don't see any sort of like anything like, you know, that could justify them staying in the game. Like, as it stands, they really are just obnoxious. So yeah, fences, unless something like is to be done with them, I really would just like to see them being removed and like replace them with like actual walls that you can use for cover or something. Because that's another issue. Like, a lot of the maps, like, they kind of just feels like no man's lands with next to no cover. And I'll talk about cover and line of sight in a bit, but like, yeah, like, it's either you get maps where they have very few bits of cover, so it's almost as if the game wants you to run like a very small squad, so at least the very few people you're bringing can use the few pieces of rock that is sprinkled around. And if in the instance you have plentiful amount of cover, you then run into the issue of line of sight, which from my experience, a lot of the time on maps with like quite a lot of cover, I end up just not being able to, like, with my rocket person, deploy and shoot the rocket because it's always blocked. And like, I always have to move them around, but then like the vehicle I'm trying to hit also moves around, so then it just, I've had a mission with Jean. I had her as my rocket, like, anti-vehicle squad leader, and basically the entire mission she was useless because there was always something in the path preventing her to shoot her rocket on those like laser truck and the chain truck team. And like, yeah, in some cases, like, obviously like a big wall, she's not gonna be able to shoot through that, but sometimes it's like a little like tiny box, or like you're not even sure exactly what's preventing her to shoot. So it's kind of like a problem with the level design that I'm kind of like noticing, is they clearly wanted to make a game that feels realistic and less video gamey, kind of like you could say XCOM 2 is. But while there is some merit there, I kind of prefer, like, honestly, a more video gamey level design, because at least it works and it's kind of like intuitive. Like, if you take XCOM 2, it's very clear when you're on high ground versus who you have height advantage, because those instants of heights are very clear between each other. It's very intuitive to see, like, okay, this has high ground on this height level, or yeah, from that cover I should have last on this guy. Like, it's, whereas in Menace, like, you'll find boxes, but they provide no cover. You'll find another set of boxes, they give you half cover. It's like the game just seems like it cannot make its mind on what is what. Like, what you can see through, what you can't see through, what kind of cover is a set piece of environment. It's kind of, it gets really tiring when you're on a mission, and like that one mission I've brought up with Gene and a rocket. Like toward the end, I was just like, get me out of here. I'm just tired of dealing with that bullshit. It's just, it really sucks the fun. Like when you play these, like a mission like this, and you are plagued with these kind of issue, it really is obnoxious. So I really hope there is some work done in that department. And I guess while we're on the subject of like clarity, I'm not the first one to bring that up, but the UI, there is so much inconsistencies, and like, please make it clear. I'll just give an example, but like I've unlocked I think it's a class 6 armor, and most item, when they are going to reduce your mobility, on the card there is an icon, like I think it's called the encumbered status, that it gives you reducing or increasing the cost of moving, basically. And on that armor there wasn't that icon, so I thought I can just move at regular speed with that super tanky armor. So I put that on limb. Mission starts, and I directly notice his movement costs increase, and I was like, hold on a minute. And I went back to check, and there was not the icon. I was correct on that, but then I read the flavor text, and you can read that it's in heavy armor, so implying that it increased movement cost, but like there is not the icon like you'd see on the pirate boarding armor or some of the heavy special weapons. So it's like there's definitely need to be consistency there. Like, do we put icon on everything, or like we have to read the flavor text? It's, yeah. And my final red flag for the demo at the moment, I would say definitely the rocket team. They're just so obnoxious. It's so, the rocket teams are like these vehicles with rockets that bombard you from like across the map, and they cause this like huge AoE of like high suppression, and usually anybody caught in it will be pinned, even if they were like, even if their bar were like empty, they'll be in fully pinned. And I don't even know what is the biggest, like what makes them so obnoxious. Like, is it their massive range? Could be. Is it the size of their AoE? Definitely could be. I've had a case, and I'll try to find a clip and put it in the video, but I was in this protect the zone, protect the like city or whatever mission, and the level happened to be very small. And in that mission there was a rocket team, and I think the one volley covered like almost half of the defendable area, and it ended up hitting Pike. I think like the intended target of the rocket team was Pike and probably Gene, who was like fairly close to him. So like, fair enough, you know, that's like a good cluster of unit to hit. But like they had one of their own unit in there, so like that unit ended up being hit along with Pike. I think it whiffed on Gene, but instead it ended up hitting Darby, who was like at the very edge of the zone on her own, and it ended up hitting her of all people. And it ended up looking like a 6x6 AoE. Like, it was ridiculous. I really hope I can find a clip, but like, yeah, Rocket Team, like they just have so much going for them that is just pure obnoxious. And the thing that doesn't help is like the mission planning screen, where you can see the enemy you'll be fighting for the mission. Most of the time, if there is a rocket team, it's not going to be identified, which it's just, I don't know if it's because in the demo your intelligence level is like too low, but if that's the issue, I'll definitely make sure in the full game I get that up high enough as soon as possible, because it's like that alone, like that rocket team alone turned my 5-man into a 3-man, and then rapidly I had a Rewa running out of ammo, so she ended up being mega useless rapidly, so that I had to protect a whole zone with basically just Darby and Lim, because Jean and Pike were basically stun locked for the wall mission. And yeah, Rocket Team, like, I don't know, like, is it the AoE that's too big? Is it the range that is like too, they have too much range? I don't know, like, or is it like a combination? But Rocket Teams are so obnoxious. And I guess in the topic of like annoying enemy, maybe a second like honorable mention would be the laser truck. The laser truck, the issue, the sort of like issue I have, and it's more of a consistency issue, is like your vehicle have terrible range. So you're like, okay, you really have to get close to shoot at people because otherwise you don't see them. But it feels like enemy vehicle have kind of like unlimited vision range. They don't, like, they can shoot you from very far, and they in some cases don't even need to see you. Like, I was talking about Rocket Team, and I had one mission. I unfortunately didn't record that, but it was another protect the city or whatever. Turn 1, I move my first unit, then they take their turn. The pirates take their turn. Immediately, the rest of the team that didn't move, that still had their turn available to them, immediately get a Rocket Team. And I'm like, did you really have vision of my team, or is it like XCOM 2, sort of like the game knows your position even if you're concealed kind of deal? I really hope it's not that, but I have strong suspicion that in Menace, the enemy sort of like knows your position without knowing it, and it's because it leads to like basically the game cheating because they're using information that they shouldn't have. And yeah, this like whole Rocket Team like rocketing enemies that they don't have vision on, and that happened to me like multiple times. I had like other mission, like especially at night where like vision range is supposed to be reduced. I had like unit very far and like split, and like I'd still get Rocket Team, and it's like, well, like who is like seeing that unit for them to know my positioning? It's like, so I don't have like 100% proof, but I have strong suspicion that the AI in Menace does cheat and have information they shouldn't have, basically. And it's very noticeable with Rocket Team and like Laser Truck, I feel like, where like they shoot you even though there's like no unit around. So yeah, and like it just adds to the frustration, right? Because like one of the mechanic in Menace is to be able to conceal, so like you can maybe approach enemy without you being seen, but then that mechanic is kind of useless if the game knows permanently all the time your location and you cheat by using it. Anyway, those are some of my feedback. There's maybe more I could say, but it's definitely more minor, and some of it have, from what I've seen with the latest update, already been addressed anyway, so I'm not gonna bother making this video longer. But like, I might have been like rough on my criticism, I don't know, but I still am very excited for the game. Like, it comes from like someone who's really excited for the game, so like I hope I'm not too coming out like too negative on the game. I hope it's not how people take this, but I really hope this game succeeds. So yeah, hopefully the devs can well, maybe see this video and see some of my criticism. So yeah, I will stop it here. If I end up really enjoying Menace on its when it released the early access, yeah, I'll definitely make more video of the game, that's for sure. So if you're into Menace, stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'll call it here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.